Well, you all know the old saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Because I'm a moron, I have agreed to try and do a video that predicts what's going to happen next year. The funny thing is, at the start of 2020, I was at a panel in downtown Toronto, and we were asked about what we were worried about for the year ahead, what was kind of on our radar. Now, I really wish I had said a weird mutated coronavirus coming out of China. That would have made me look really smart. But what I actually said probably was close enough. I said one of the big concerns I had is that the threats were coming faster and faster. Our situation was evolving ever more quickly, but our institutions, mainly meaning our government, was not keeping up with the change. And I said what worried me was the idea that we might one day have a crisis that came on us faster than we could possibly respond to it. I didn't have a pandemic specifically in mind, but it sure does apply, doesn't it? So that was where my head was at last year. So where's my head at now as we flip into a new calendar and move into 2021? Couple of really easy things, and no one's going to give me any rewards for making these predictions, is that obviously the early part of the year, say the first 6 months, is going to be two main stories competing for attention. It's going to be the second wave and the state of the pandemic. Bad in some areas, not as bad in others, getting worse as we head into the new year in some areas. It's going to take us months to get this under control, because even if we zeroed out the infections today, there would still be weeks and months of people getting sick and then lingering in hospital. So that's an easy prediction. It's honestly more just a statement of fact. The other story, though, that's going to be unfolding in parallel with this is the vaccines, the vaccination program. Canada, how are we going to keep up? Where are we going to place, and how are we going to look compared to the United States, Britain, and other countries, to be blunt about this, that Canadians actually look to as comparisons? I don't know. I think Canada is going to do better than the doomsayers are predicting, but I don't think they're going to do as well as the Liberals want to convince us all that we're going to do. I think there is going to be problems with this program. Any program of this size would have problems. And if we don't keep up, we're gonna have political problems in this country, especially for our federal government. So that's one prediction. Another one is going to be, I don't think there's going to be any huge developments politically, at least until we're getting nearer the end of this vaccine rollout. There was a poll that took a snapshot of where we stood federally, and where we stood federally was basically unchanged from the year before. I had a bit of a laugh at that, right? Because of everything that happened in 2020, and we find ourselves with the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the NDP all within margin of error where they had started the year. I actually think that makes intuitive sense. I mean, I think you don't want to waste too much time trying to read the tea leaves of a poll like this. What is the real takeaway conclusion from that? For me, it's that Canadians are just in a wait and see mode, where we haven't decided to totally transform our ideology or our political preferences. We haven't radically changed how we feel about this, that, or the other politician. We've basically written off the year of 2020, and we're going to see going forward what comes next. So finding ourselves in a holding pattern makes sense, but that's not going to last forever. The Liberals have run their minority like a majority because they had the backdrop of an emergency to be able to do that. Well, that emergency is going to be waning. We're going to get back to politics as normal, maybe by, say, the second or third quarter of the year. Meanwhile, of course, the consequences, we're going to move out of the party of spending phase, and we're going to move into the hangover of held over deficits and debt stage. That's going to be politically dicey for any number of the parties. The other wild card, of course, is going to be the incoming American administration, which this is my prediction again, will be calmer, more rational, more to the aesthetic liking of Canadians. But in a lot of substantive policy matters, particularly ones that matter most to us, is not going to be as radical a departure from the Trump administration as we might have hoped or might have expected. It will be an improvement in tone. Things will be smoother and calmer. And obviously there will be some progress on issues that matter to Canadians. But on some of the big picture stuff, are we going to see a radical change, at least as it impacts us? I don't think so. One possible difference might be climate policies, which is going to be interesting for us given our energy sector. Anyway, that's as far as I dare go making any predictions, because let's face it, no one had 2020 coming when 2020 began. To all of you, thanks for watching these videos. Have a very happy new year, and we'll talk to you again in 2021.